Welcome to the Deep Plea. This episode is on video games. I'm Karthik. The guy on the other side of the mic is Sven.
Hello,
And
hello.
let's start off with our quote for today. If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the results of 100 battles. If you know yourself but not the enemy, for every victory gained you will also suffer a defeat. If you know neither the enemy nor yourself, you will succumb in every battle. Sun Tzu, Art of War. Sven, take it away.
Yeah, so I think in modern times, this quote is kind of representing social media, technology, entertainment, and how the battleground is us using video games, us using social media, and then having marketing and all the psychological tricks that come. And it really takes up our valuable time, and it can take our money if we succumb to those advertisements. Um, when you play a video game, which is the topic of today, you really don't necessarily gain anything from the game itself. You're more so exposed to maybe a different perception, a different idea, whatever it is. Maybe you learn something, but it's never going to be something that's really worth your time. But yeah, what do you think, Arthur?
So I just think like yeah, with less and less regulation, or maybe not less and less regulation, but more and more, I guess, power, it's kind of hard to win this battle that we talk about, where it's perhaps us versus some company trying to grab our attention or, you
Right.
know, our money or whatever it might be. Um, there's a idea in Stoicism where even our entertainment should be, I guess, worthwhile or beneficial to us. So, for example, something like a podcast or something like informational, like reading books as a
Hmm.
stress reliever, as opposed to, I guess, kind of a mindless activity, is most of the time benefited because well, I guess the idea is to like use all your time to the maximum capability, but
Yeah.
winning that battle is very hard because that environment that you're in or that enemy you face is so grand that it's just going to be hard to fight
Yeah.
back against everything. So,
Especially when the goal is just chasing the dopamine. It's like it's never going to end. Like you're just going to want more.
yeah, I mean that's a psychological tricks that we talk about, right?
Right. Yeah.
The I mean, maybe we haven't done too much research into what those actually are, but there's some tricks in there. I mean, hey, the
Yeah.
main menu looks pretty good nowadays. I don't know, it just even that looks enticing. I'm like,
Or
damn.
like every week there's like new cosmetics and you have to get it because everyone else has it and it's just like nonstop. Next week everyone's like, oh, I gotta get this one now.
Yeah, yeah. So, I think we'll go to the next idea is our experiences with video games. So, I'll start off. Um, and the seventh grade summer, so after I finished seventh grade, I just moved to Las Vegas, and my parents got me an Xbox. That was kind of a mistake because that summer I was totally addicted to Call of Duty Black Ops 3. I used to
Yeah.
play hours and hours a day on that thing, kind of no life it. And like it, I didn't really gain anything. I mean, I had some good. I used to be good at zombies. I used to be good at clutching. But like, does that really translate to anything in real life? Not really. I mean, we'll talk about characters a little bit more and like what they mean to us in video games. But other than that, after that, got into Rocket League where I met Sven. Got
Yeah.
a PC. I hit Grand Champ, which was the highest rank at the time. And then I played too much Valorant, spent a bit of money, and then it realizes that it's all a hoax, and and that no
Yeah.
life progress is really being made by spending hours and hours on a console or PC every day. Instead I started to pick up reading books, trying to do more just personal betterments like learning new skills, just things to help myself in the real reality as opposed to the virtual reality. Sven, what are your
Yes.
experiences with
Yeah,
video games?
similarly, I did start off with Call of Duty, but the very old one, Call of Duty 3. Um, Played that a lot. I also had an Xbox. And then I went to Skyrim, where as a kid, I had like 900 plus hours. And that was me coming home just playing Skyrim by myself. It's not a multiplayer game, so just by myself. But I will say, in that game there is reading, there's books, and I did learn from those things, character interactions, which we'll get to as well. Um, of course, Rocket League, which yeah, I met Pew on. Hit Grand Champ as well. And then now, uh, well, I actually started playing a lot of MMOs, so mass multiplayer online games, and I realized how bad that is for you because that's a game that ends up being a job where you set the computer to automate some sort of thing, so the game will like give you currency over time. So you're kind of like, okay, while I do this thing, I'm gonna let my game run so I can make this in the game, and it starts
Hmm.
becoming like a part
Interesting.
of your life. So it's not like you hop on there, you escape for a little bit, and then you do this. It kind of becomes a part of your of your life. So it's not even like an escape. It's like you're grinding to get to this achievement.
Yeah,
Um,
it's like keep it spending a bit more RAM on your computer to try
right.
and I don't know, improve that virtual space.
Yeah. Not to mention in Rocket League, I also spent, I don't want to say exactly how much, but a lot of money on crates at the time, which they banned now, thankfully, because my wallet was bleeding. But I
Yeah,
did spend a lot. Me and my friend that worked together, we would spend a lot of money on crates. But yeah.
yeah, that whole crates idea that used to be they had to get rid of it because it was too similar to a roulette, I believe. And
Yeah. Right. Gambling.
kids would spend their parents' money on the roulette and it'd just be way too addicting because obviously that I think that game is E for everyone. So,
Yeah.
roulette's for everyone.
Right.
So that
Not to
definitely had
mention
to
too,
change.
with the same friend, we also played a lot of FIFA, which also had FIFA packs, which was the same gambling concept. So we also spent a lot of money on that, which wasn't good. Uh, it was a lose lose. The battlefield was dead. That's all I gotta say about that.
The battlefield was just freaking lava and y'all were just swimming in that stuff.
Yeah, literally.
All right, let's go on to our next topic, psychology of video games. So we've talked, we might have had a little bit of a negative connotation on the first half of this podcast, but let's talk about the positives. So I'll give a quick start to a video game case study that I think summarized the research of quite a few studies. I think dozens of them. I'll link it down in the description, but it says video games can meet the criteria for initiative, which outlined in this study, I forget exactly which study they mentioned, but intrinsic motivation, concentration and cognitive effort, and cumulative effort over time to achieve a goal. So we kind of see this in video games, maybe to an extreme, if we're keeping our game that takes up a lot of CPU power and memory up the whole day, kind of burning our computer. And then we have the motivation like that to, I guess, get more resources. Then we have the concentration and cognitive effort, spending a lot of time outside school or work to try and improve. And then cumulative
Mhm.
effort over time to achieve a goal. Obviously, a goal in a lot of these games is simply trying to get to the better rank.
Yeah.
Sven, I'll let you describe the next part.
Yeah, violence in video games, it says may stem from competitiveness rather than actual violence. In the game, of course. Yeah, I do see that because we have a whole community for Valorant, Rainbow Six Siege, CS:GO, and it's all about shooting each other. But these people aren't running around in real life shooting each other. I would even argue that in the past there was a lot of grotesque violence. Before technology itself even came around. The competitive nature, I think, is definitely the driving factor because there's plenty of other games that you have the same type of cognitive concentration and focus that's required for, like, let's say aiming, but not necessarily killing, and it's also very competitive. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think that violence in video games is going to necessarily cause violence in real life. And it can happen if some kids are suggestible to it. But I would find that to be kind of an outcasted idea. I don't know. What do you think?
I guess if let's say we take it to a positive, instead of saying, okay, violence in a video game makes I guess violent in real life. I guess if we think about happiness in a video game,
Mm,
if we achieve a certain rank or we get our favorite skin, or whatever, maybe we have some happiness for a little bit, but I don't necessarily think that really translates into the real world. Like, we're not like really that much happier because we got some Fortnite skin or, Rocket
right.
League crate or, some
Yeah.
item. We kind of are I don't know. I mean, obviously it's kind of like when you get an item, it's like the car off the lot. It loses so much value right
Yeah.
when you get it. Whether that's like actual money value or it's just value in your head based on what you think about it.
Right.
Another
Well,
topic, or sorry, I don't want to cut you off. You got something?
no. No. I was pretty much just agreeing with that. Yeah.
Okay, so then we're just gonna talk a quick segue about characters. So we mentioned earlier. So characters of like a fictional like creation of someone's mind, like in video games, can exhibit a lot of valor and strength and other good attributes. So
Hmm.
some examples for me would be if anyone knows Nikolai, Richthof, and Takio and Dempsey from the Call of Duty Black Ops. Like they were the zombie characters, and I played Black Ops 3 where they all had to like kill their other selves. It was kind of weird because it was like alternate dimension type of stuff. They had all these things. But like in that um some I think Takio, everyone has two characters. So Takio's other character like sacrificed himself. Um like I think Dempsey's character I think just like he looked cool when he died or something like that. It just looks cool. And then Nikolai's character was like against you. So he would fight against you in kind of like as a survivalist mentality. Like I want to survive. I don't care what it
Hmm.
takes. And that kind of like even though that may be bad, it's kind of like it kind of looked cool and it would like you would see these characters with strength who obviously because of a video game can just run around for hours and hours and hours and you're
Right.
like dang these people got some endurance but it's just like hard coded that they can run forever. um so those
Yeah,
are
so like,
some
so you
yeah.
kind of you're talking about like characters in video games can almost like a book. They kind of tell a story too, though. Like certain video games, for Skyrim or like Fallout, for example, there's a real story and there's like books on them, and they kind of are a video of the book or the script or whatever, and you can learn concepts of the psychology between people, of dichotomies, sociologies, all that different stuff, of diversities based on those events. In some cases, people might learn, things even better by seeing an interactive video game rather than reading a book, especially at least young kids.
Mm.
Um, so I'm just thinking about that too. How you can gain stuff that's kind of like intelligence, in a video game, as long as it's not just like you're shooting, zombies running at you all day. That's not really going to cut it, but there can be like storytelling.
And that is a great segue into our question for this episode. Sven, how can video games help us become the person that we want to be, i.e., assist our values, like our creation of values that we want, or provide inspiration? I mean, you already touched on it a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll take the reins from this one. I think or I'll take the reins now. But I think the characters, like, um, you see these characters who are like, yeah, they're not real, but it's like, I don't know, it's like ChatGPT when it's like nice to you. It's like, oh,
Hmm.
that's cool. And it's like, oh, I can act this way to other people, or like I can
Yeah.
exhibit these values if I want, or I
It's
guess I
interactive.
can be this type of person, right? And I can
Yeah.
have, I can be really strong. I can be like, if there's like a character in a video game that um, does something for love, right?
Right.
Um, whether that's sacrifice or, maybe it all goes back to Jesus on the cross. I don't know, but just sacrificing yourself for the greater good, I
Yeah.
think is you can learn a lot of good lessons, and I think obviously, yeah, shooting zombies ain't gonna cut it all day.
Right.
But then if we learn the storylines, right? If we learn
Yeah.
the kind of situations of characters and we understand where they come from, then perhaps it can help us in our real life. And um, I guess just at the end of the day, we can go back to stoicism, make our entertainment uh, that which also benefits us. So,
Yeah.
killing zombies might not be good, but perhaps learning about psychology in a game like Skyrim. Maybe you go
Right.
around and
Right.
you interact with certain people, and then maybe you understand why they interacted in certain ways. Then you can take that to your real life and just
Yeah.
maybe be a bit more. Maybe one of your values is to be open to all kind of views, for example.
Right.
So you can kind of take that idea and kind of build on it in your own life.
Yeah, and even aside from the inspiration of characters, I guess to finish off, I have an idea that I kind of want to talk about, which is when you play a competitive shooter. Let's say you're with a team and you're communicating with each other. You have these rounds you're going through. You're saying, "Hey, I got this, whatever, blah blah blah." You're learning how to communicate with other people and you're also achieving a goal together. So you have the addition of communication, but also a group of people that all want the same thing. And whether you know it or not, these kids that are playing these games are learning unique qualities about communication, how to persuade, how to demand, all those different things with a team, and kind of growing their social skills in that regard. And those are kind of leader quality skills to be able to say, hey, do this, do that, or be able to like take orders, like all these different things. It may seem like, it's just a video game, but they are being exposed to this, whereas they wouldn't have otherwise.
Oh yeah,
So
definitely. I mean, especially when you're playing like you know those games where people have to work together to like solve a puzzle.
yeah, it takes two,
So
stuff like that.
yeah, stuff like that. So
Right,
it's like at that point you have to be really you have to re you have to have a great skill of working together in communication, like you said.
right,
And if you don't, then maybe you get frustrated even, and that doesn't
yeah,
really help. But yeah, we don't want to just come on here and say video games are bad, period, end of story, because that's definitely not
right.
the case. Um, everything is gray.
In moderation, you can do things here and there, but it all depends, of course, on exactly what it is. But yeah,
Yep, it
it,
depends on what it is. I think that's a great
honestly,
way to end it.
yeah, just go with that.
Hey, it's good.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good. One.